Welcome back to Roads and Destination. Every road starts somewhere, and every destination begins with a step. Today we're talking about something that's real, something that's heavy, and something a lot of us face, but we sure don't like to admit. What do you do when you feel hopeless? If that's you, someone you know and love, stay with me because you're closer to hope than you think. Have you ever felt hopeless? I'm not talking about just a bad day. I'm talking about the kind of hopeless that makes you wonder if anything is ever going to change. I have learned feeling hopeless is a moment. Becoming hopeless is a choice. Everyone has hopeless moments. But hopeless lives are built when we make the wrong choices in those moments. So let's ask ourselves, have I been carrying something that feels too heavy to come back from? Have I ever thought, maybe I'm too far gone? Have I ever felt like I'm barely holding on? If so, today's message is for you. Years ago, a man walked to the edge of a high bridge late at night. He didn't have a note, no cell phone, just pain. He'd lost his job. His marriage fell apart. His friends had all abandoned him. The man later said, I didn't want to die. I just didn't know how to live anymore. And as he was standing there on the edge of the bridge, a stranger pulled over. He didn't preach at him, and he didn't judge, and he didn't lecture him. He just said, hey man, you're not alone. Let me stand with you. And that one interruption saved this man's life. Later he said, I felt invisible my whole life until someone saw me before I disappeared. He didn't just step off the bridge. He stepped into redemption. He got help. He surrendered to God. And God rebuilt what was broken in that man. And now this man helps others find hope from almost ending his life to helping others save theirs. Mark chapter 5, we'll see a similar situation of a man that was living in the tombs, was cutting himself, crying day and night, isolated, alone, no shoulder to cry on. He was ignored. Nobody wanted to mess with him. It's considered a lost cause. But he was one choice away from a different life, The Bible says, when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran to him. He didn't run with a plan. He didn't run with a self-help checklist. He didn't run dressed. Luke's account says that he was naked. He didn't run clean, and he wasn't clothed. But he just ran. We don't get it all together to come to God. We come to God with all of our broken pieces, and he puts it all back together. And this is where everything changes. See, Jesus didn't offer a partial solution. He didn't offer half deliverance. He didn't say, I'll fix some issues, but not all. No, Jesus doesn't do halfway. He doesn't halfway heal, and he doesn't halfway deliver. He breaks every chain. He doesn't halfway break addiction. He doesn't halfway restore identity. He doesn't halfway free the mind. He doesn't halfway remove shame or fear. Anything that tries to bind us, Jesus fully delivers from. And suddenly, this wild man who had been screaming in the tombs is now standing in front of everyone, clothed, calm, and in his right mind. One encounter, and Jesus transformed every part of this man. One encounter changed his whole life. He went from hopeless to sharing hope. And the same community that chained him, the same ones that feared him, the same ones avoided him, the same ones that called him hopeless. That's the same people Jesus sent him to testify to. The hopeless man became the hope giver. The broken man became the messenger. The outcast became the one preaching Jesus. Because that's what Jesus does. God rewrites the stories that everybody else throws away. God rewrites the lives of people that are lost causes to everyone else. He rewrites the life of the hopeless. And he adds hope because he is the hope. So we should ask ourselves, what chains are still telling my story? Am I running toward Jesus or away from him? Why am I settling for halfway when Jesus wants to make me whole? What hopeless moment am I letting define me instead of drive me to Jesus? And here's a big one. What would change if I took one step toward Jesus? You're not invisible, and you're not a lost cause. There's hope. Even though you feel like no one sees you, Jesus sees you. You're not invisible, you're not forgotten, and you're not too far gone. Hopelessness may shout, but Jesus speaks louder. Your past may feel heavy. Jesus is stronger. Just like the man on the bridge. Just like the man in the tombs. Your story isn't finished. You're one step away from a completely different life. So don't stay in the dark. Don't stay chained. And don't stay on the edge. Take that step towards Jesus. Because when you move toward Him, He meets you with the power to change everything. Thank you for joining me today on Roads and Destination. Remember, the road you're on doesn't have to be the road you stay on. One step can change your direction